A drug lord offers $100 million to anyone who can break him out of jail, turning Los Angeles into a war zone of betrayal and chaos. SWAT officers face relentless criminals, deadly traps, and impossible odds in a fight that will push them to their limits. How far would you go for $100 million? Stick around, because this movie is pure adrenaline. In the bustling city of Los Angeles, chaos unfolds as law enforcement confronts a daring group of criminals during a high-stakes bank heist in Lincoln Heights. Inside the bank, two robbers watch over hostages while their heavily armed accomplices engage in a ferocious battle with the police. Equipped with automatic fire weapons and clad in advanced body armor, the robbers dominate the standoff against officers armed with standard-issue weapons. Relief comes when a specialized SWAT team arrives to turn the tide. Descending from a helicopter, officers Jim and Brian, along with two other SWAT members, land on the bank's rooftop. Using tactical tools, they infiltrate the storeroom, where they deploy a spy camera to strategize their entry into the lobby. Simultaneously, SWAT snipers position themselves on a nearby building, while a ground team advances toward the bank. Tension escalates when one of the robbers attempts to flee in a getaway car, but a sniper's precision ends the escape with a single shot. The remaining robber outside is subdued by the ground unit after a brief struggle. Inside the bank, the robbers' nerves fray. A SWAT negotiator initiates communication via a secure phone to discuss releasing the hostages. Despite orders from Lieutenant Velasquez to remain cautious, Brian defies protocol, sneaking into the lobby to take a shot at the robbers. His rash actions lead to a hostage being injured when he fires through her shoulder to eliminate a threat. Jim neutralizes the last robber, bringing the standoff to an end, but the consequences of Brian's impulsive behavior linger. Furious, Jim berates Brian as paramedics arrive to aid the injured woman. Back at the precinct, Captain Fuller reprimands Jim and Brian for their insubordination, emphasizing the legal repercussions of their actions. Although Fuller initially seeks to dismiss both officers from SWAT, Velasquez intervenes, persuading Fuller to reassign them to mundane cage duty, a humiliating role involving the maintenance of equipment. Dissatisfied by the demotion, Brian lashes out and storms off, while Fuller offers Jim a chance to regain his position in exchange for testifying against Brian. Tensions between the partners reach a boiling point when Brian wrongly assumes Jim betrayed him, leading to a heated argument and their eventual split. Months later, Jim continues to train rigorously despite his menial duties in the fire weapon cage. During a shift, he catches the attention of Sergeant Hondo, who admires Jim's innovative firearm modifications. Hondo, tasked with forming a new SWAT team to restore public confidence in the LAPD, identifies potential recruits, including Jim. Meanwhile, Jim's personal life unravels as his girlfriend leaves, citing his emotional detachment since his SWAT demotion. Hondo's recruitment journey begins with Officer Deke, whose determination shines during a foot pursuit that ends with Hondo and Jim joining the chase. Despite Deke's initial annoyance at their interference, Hondo's offer to join the team wins him over. Next, Hondo evaluates other candidates, eventually meeting Christina, a skilled officer whose applications to SWAT were repeatedly denied, likely due to her gender and her confrontations with aggressive suspects. Impressed by her resilience and capability, Hondo secures her spot on the team. Back at headquarters, Hondo finally confronts Jim about his potential. When asked if he wants to join the team, Jim hesitates, fearing Fuller's disapproval. Hondo challenges Jim's integrity, asking whether he betrayed Brian. Upon hearing Jim's denial, Hondo offers him the final place on the team, setting the stage for a new chapter in Jim's career. Later in the meeting to finalize the team composition, Fuller predictably dismisses Chris and Jim. However, Hondo refuses to relent. Fuller proposes a deal. He'll approve the team as it stands, but failure in the required SWAT trials would result in Chris returning to her subway duties and both Jim and Hondo being removed from the force. Confident in his recruits, Hondo agrees. Training soon begins, allowing the squad members to bond. It's revealed that Jim's ex-girlfriend is Michael's sister, causing tension between them. This leads to a confrontation, which the team defuses before it escalates. Hondo challenges the group with various exercises, such as infiltration drills, weapons training, and physical conditioning. Though they struggle initially, they gradually improve, showcasing remarkable skills during a sniper session where they hit playing cards as targets. Simulation exercises in building takeovers further hone their teamwork, focusing on rescuing hostages without casualties. For the final evaluation, the team must reclaim an airplane in a mock hostage scenario. Fellow officers, armed with paintball fire weapons, play the role of terrorists. The team has 8 minutes to neutralize the threat. Jim discovers a rarely used access point, the elevator shaft for food trays, too small for anyone but Chris. Their coordinated harm proceeds flawlessly, with Chris entering through the shaft while the others disable a trap and breach the plane. The team eliminates the hijackers with precision, setting a new record despite TJ taking a simulated fatal hit. Fuller begrudgingly acknowledges their success. That evening, the team celebrates at a cafe owned by Deke's father. While most members head home afterward, Chris and Jim visit a bar. Their drinks are interrupted by Brian, who exchanges tense remarks with Jim before storming out. Later, Jim makes an awkward romantic move on Chris, but she declines and invites him to her daughter's birthday party instead. Meanwhile, Alex seeks legal assistance but finds no hope. He is soon transferred to another facility. On their day off, the team enjoys leisure activities. TJ goes on a date, Hondo and Velasquez golf, Deke spends time with his kids, and Jim entertains children at Chris's party. However, their respite is cut short by an emergency involving a man barricaded in his house, firing randomly and claiming to have rigged explosives. Velasquez, unwilling to take risks, approves Jim's plan to breach the house. The team swiftly neutralizes the suspect. At the sheriff's department, Alex's true identity as an international fugitive is uncovered. Velasquez tasks Hondo's team with escorting the prison bus carrying Alex. Simultaneously, Alex's allies ambush the bus, posing as officers. They eliminate the deputies and free Alex, but Hondo's team arrives in time to block their escape. A battle ensues, forcing Alex's recapture. Media coverage skyrockets when Alex offers a $100 million reward for his escape, drawing criminal attention across Los Angeles. As Hondo's unit prepares to transport Alex by helicopter, a sniper disables the chopper, leading to a fiery crash. They retreat indoors and execute a motorcade plan. Despite multiple diversions, a gang ambushes the convoy. In the chaos, Alex escapes with TJ, who betrays the team for the reward. The team tracks them to a subway tunnel, but finds only terrified passengers in an abandoned train. The driver directs the team to a storm drain entrance, cutting off their communication with the police frequency as they descend into the underground system. Meanwhile, Fuller uncovers TJ's betrayal and Brian's involvement, leading him to suspect that the entire team might be complicit in Alex's escape. This suspicion grows when an unauthorized runway is reported as being lit up at Hawthorne Airport, prompting Fuller to dispatch all available units to intercept what he believes to be Brian's intended escape route. While navigating the sewer tunnels, the team encounters bats and other obstacles as they pursue the criminals. Brian, anticipating their approach, rigs a booby trap with a claymore mine and smoke grenades. TJ expresses his discomfort with these measures, but Brian presses on. Undeterred by the smoke, Hondo's team advances cautiously. When Deke nearly triggers the trap, Jim intervenes just in time, successfully disarming the claymore. However, Brian's group manages to lock a heavy gate behind them as they leave the tunnels. With no alternative, Jim repurposes the disarmed claymore to blow open the gate, restoring their access to the outside and re-establishing communication with the police frequency. Hondo updates Fuller on the situation and requests transport for the team, but Fuller's trust has eroded. He orders the team to abandon their mission, a directive Hondo chooses to ignore. Instead, they commandeer a passing limousine and resume their pursuit. Chris spots a low-flying jet and deduces that it's part of Brian's escape plan. They realize the jet's intended decoy at the airport was a diversion, with the real action unfolding on the 6th Street Bridge. As the jet lands on the bridge, Brian and his men take its owners hostage and prepare for takeoff. Racing against time, Hondo's team arrives in the limo. When criminals fire on the limo, attempting to blow it up, Hondo drives straight through the barricade without hesitation. Despite their efforts, the jet begins to accelerate for takeoff. Acting quickly, Hondo rams the jet's landing gear, resulting to a crash and grounding the plane. A fierce battle erupts between SWAT and Brian's men. Amid the chaos, Chris is wounded in the shoulder. Alex attempts an escape on foot, but Deke quickly apprehends him. Brian, using a hostage as a shield, manages to rappel down from the bridge. Jim pursues him, leaving Hondo to deal with an injured TJ. Regretful, TJ asks about Michael's condition. Hondo reassures him that Michael is expected to recover. Overcome with guilt, TJ draws his weapon and unalived himself. Meanwhile, Jim follows Brian into a train yard. Brian ambushes him, wounded his hand before fleeing. Despite the injury, Jim gives chase, navigating around moving trains. He finally catches Brian, initiating a hand-to-hand fight on the tracks. As a train barrels toward them, Jim uses a decisive kick to knock Brian into its path, ending the chase for good. Jim returns to the bridge, reuniting with the team as Fuller arrives. Fuller commends their efforts, but reminds them the mission isn't over. Alex must still be delivered to federal authorities. The team secures Alex in a SWAT truck and completes the transfer successfully. Later, as they head back, a report of a robbery in progress crackles over the radio. Despite having worked 12 hours past their shift, the exhausted team agrees to take on one more mission, embodying their commitment to duty. Despite betrayal, loss, and the chaos unleashed by a $100 million bounty, the team's relentless determination brought justice to the streets of Los Angeles. Their mission wasn't just about stopping criminals, it was about upholding the values of duty and sacrifice. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more incredible stories of courage and resilience.